welcome to Wasteland Motorsports Diecast. Yesterday we did an unboxing video where I showed you the contents of a Mainline Case D for 2023. I actually opened two of them, and I was going to do two unboxing videos, but I completely screwed the video for the first one, and you only saw the second. So today I'm going to show you what the full contents of both of those cases were. It is interesting, and it helps me to see why some cars are rarer than others. Also, of interesting note, I ordered 2 cases of 72 cars each, but I actually received 2 cases and a total of 138 cars. There's 6 cars missing, 3 from each box, and I think it comes down to these guys here. They have larger than normal blister packages, and so they probably got less cars in each box. I understand that, but I paid for 72 cars. I think they should, take care of that. But there's no real way to do that and still do a random assortment when you have odd-sized cars. Anyway, let's go on. There are 47 unique cars here, 47 different models and molds. There aren't any recolors of the same car in this set, but there are 47 different unique vehicles and 138 total vehicles. So let me show you what I got here. I'm going to show you the cars I like first, and then I'm going to show you the cars I really dislike. My pile of shame is over there. So to start with, I'm going to show you my favorite cars. My favorite cars are the 80s cars. I received quite a few of them. 5 Mazda Savannah RX-7s. They're a gorgeous car, and I really like them very much. Just look at that. It's got so much potential, both for racing as it is and for collecting. I can speak English, I promise. And for modification. This would be a great car. I'm tossing them to the side, so bear with me. The next 80s car is the 88 Jeep Wagoneer. And this is taller. It doesn't race so good because it's got such a high center of gravity, but it's still a great looking vehicle with some good detail on it that can be done for modification, especially if you're not going to race it. Got 5 of those. 5 Jeep Wagoneers. We also got 2 of the 84 Corvettes. Now, I'm a little disappointed in that. I wanted more of them because this is a wonderful car. It's got a great profile. It's iconic. Everyone knows this car. And then you have this wonderful car with an amazing profile with that slope back trunk, and it looks almost humpbacked. And this was the height of class in the early 1980s, late 70s. The Cadillac Sedan DeVille. Wonderful gold. Got 2 of those. Moving on to the art cars now. The art cars are interesting. I'm not always a fan of their paint jobs, but the cars themselves, the molds, are pretty good. And this is a 08 Ford Focus. I actually already have a lot of these, so I'm not sad to have gotten one. There are 4 of the 68 Copa Camaros, and none of them are treasure hunt or anything like that because it's not in this box. But it's a great mold. I like the 2-tone tires, and the comic book Zipatone 4-color retro style of comic book style on the paint is great. I'll pick those up later. Next in the art cars is the 76 Greenwood Corvette. And I mentioned in the unboxing video just how beautiful this car is. I mean, it's just a gorgeous paint job, and it doesn't look terribly garish. It doesn't look artificial. This is something I would see on a Corvette of this class, maybe as a vinyl wrap, and I really like that. The other art car is the Ford Transit Connect, which is just a real hard car it's really hard to sexy up a transport van. And they did their best, but I don't really care for the art, but it's a good mold. The mold itself is great. It's got great potential for modification and for racing. Which brings us to modification. I like that very much. And we got 4 Erkenstein rods. These are fantasy cars, but they have such a wonderful detail to them, like the one headlight on, the one headlight off, and the back railings and the big engine. There's so much to work with here when you're modifying them. I'll put an image of some of the ones I've modified on the screen here for you to see. But I got 4 of these, and I like them. Muscle Mania. I like muscle cars. I think it's really part of my blood that I like muscle cars. I come from a racing family, and yeah, cars. So, Muscle Mania. I got 5 of the Twinductions. And the Twinduction, this mold is, you know, it's a fantasy car, but it's close enough to real that you could squint and it would be a car from the near future, or a car that someone has cobbled together from other parts. And that makes it perfect for my uses. Now we have Count Muscula, which is just a wonderful car with the simple lines, the angular aggressive stylings, and the near future view of it. This could be a car of today or tomorrow if you squinted. And it's a fantasy car, it's not licensed, but it's still a great car. I love this car. Also, the 2 size different wheels and the 2-tone wheels, awesome. The last car in Muscle Mania, I got 5 of. The custom Ford Maverick. I used to have a Maverick when I was a kid. They're cars near and dear to my heart. They are infinitely moddable, and back in the day, these things were just pony cars. They were designed to be a entry-level sport car for the young market, and they did a very good job of that. They were everywhere for 20 years. Okay, then we got some screen time cars, and the first one is Barbie. Now, it's a fantasy car, and it's specifically supposed to look like a toy, which is not my favorite thing, but when I was doing track tests with this car, it was the fastest car in unmodified car in all of my fleet. It did a 10-second, 8-inch drop in about 2.2 seconds, which is really fast. It's really fast, actually. Then we have Snoopy, and if you don't like Snoopy, just turn off this video now because we can't be friends. It's Snoopy. What can you miss about Snoopy? And I will do something interesting with this car. I can't not. I just got to do it. All right, then we got 1 Honda Super Club. Out of all of the boxes, I only got 1 of these, so it's one of the rarest cars I have in terms of this box, not necessarily overall rarity in the set. I'm not a fan because it's not a car, and I can't race it and I can't modify it. It's the wrong scale, but it's still a neat mold. Then we have a very clearly named car, Group C Fantasy. This is a supercar. It could be today, it could be yesterday, it could be tomorrow, but it's close enough to reality that it can be used. It isn't a shark on wheels, so I appreciate that. And it's got, the 2-tone wheels, different size. It's a good stance. I like it. It'll race well. It'll also modify well. Speaking of modify well, even though it's so tall, this Jeepster Commando has a lot of detail on it that make it really good for modification, from the light rack on the top to the push bar and winch to the motorcycle on the back and the open bed. This is just a car that you can do a lot of things with, especially in Gaslands or Car Wars or Auto Kill. Then you have the Aston Martin Vantage GTE. I got 2 of these. And they're good cars, solid, good and heavy. They'll roll down the track just fine. You can probably do some modification to them, especially with those divots in the hood, especially if you take the windows out. And I think that the Gulf livery is actually pretty cool. 2 of them. You got Bone Shaker here. It's classic. The white wall tires and the skull in the front and the rat rod chopped look. I mean, this is a rite of passage for people who modify cars, making a rat rod out of this. And I haven't done one yet because they're very common, but I'll probably do one with one of these. Speaking of modification, it's the Lolux. This chassis, with the back like that and the girders and the beams and the open doors. This just screams to be modified, and I'm gonna do that actually. And I'll post pictures when I do. The Unimog by Mercedes-Benz, I got 2 of these, and it's a good truck. It's not a great racer. It's good for modification if you're going to take the wheels off and put static wheels on there like some people do. I don't tend to do that because I like to race my cars, but this is a wonderful mold with the back tires there. I think they use the same tires on the Fast and Furious Charger, but you got these boxes in the back and the stacks and the push bar. It's really good. I also like the side tank. I got 2 of these head gasket. I only show you one here because I gave one to my roommate because he thought it was just the stupidest thing he'd ever seen in his life. And we like stupid things. Go figure. The head gasket, it's just completely pointless. I can't use it for anything. I would not use it for anything, and I will probably give it away to a neighborhood kid because whatever. And then you have the Chrysler Pacifica. I only got 1 of these, and I was confused by that. It's a common car usually. I only got 1 out of 2 boxes. I like the detail on it with the light rack and the back tires again. They're using that mold, and the front rack is good. It's just a good level of detail on a common car. Over here with the Roadsters, we have Max Steel. It's got that rat rod look, that chopped hot rod. And you know, it's small and it's open wheels, so there's not a lot I can do with it, but I do like the mold. I got 3 of those. Still with the Roadsters, the McLaren Elva. It's an open top car, and it's got the dark wheels, which I really like. But because it's an open top car, I'm probably not going to do much with it because I don't want to have to print and then paint and then put in little figurines for drivers because it would look weird if you didn't. I got 3 of the McLaren Elvas. Then for drag strip, we got 2 Mustang Mach-E 1400s, and I like any mold that is a real car. And this is a nice car with the flared fenders and the spoiler and the dark tires again. So I'm really glad to have gotten 2 of these. That means I can keep one and rip one apart, which is nice. Now, this is the Rimac Nevera. I never had heard of this car before I pulled it out of the box. It's from the Green Speed. I got 3 of these, and I really like that blue color there. Speaking of nice colors and green speed, the Lotus Evija. I got 3 of these, and unfortunately they're all standard. You can tell because the tires are the same and they're not Spectra flame planed. But they're really nice cars and they will look good on a track. Here's the Nissan Leaf Nismo RC02. It's from the modified set, and it's just a nice car. I mean, I'm not a fan of the fact that the hood, the roof rather, is molded in plastic. There's not a lot of detail there to work with. I feel like that's kind of a cop-out, but you know, it's still a nice car. Okay, now one of my favorite sets. This is from the J Imports. I got 2 of these 1990 Honda Civic EFs. I remember when these first came out, I was about 13, 14 when they started hitting the streets, and they were loud, and people modified them all to heck and back. They had stinger mufflers in the back like an old VW Bug. It was just weird, but it was neat. And I got 2 of these, and these are just a nice little detailed mold with good tampo decorations. I only got 1 1986 Toyota van, and this screams soccer mom. So I'm probably gonna do a Mad Max race of nothing but soccer mom cars because that seems funny. I got 3 of these Nissan Skyline GTRs with the Godzilla livery. And this is, again, just a really nice, clean mold with one headlight in, one headlight out, and the big scoop, the spoiler. I will probably keep one of these cars pristine and modify the other two. I really like this mold. I got 3 of these from both boxes. So, Hot Wheels City must be a very strange place because Hot Wheels Metro, they're Time a Taxi. This is actually a car I like very much. But if this is their taxi, they have issues and they need to get Uber or something. But this is a great mold. It looks like it might have been a Toyota or a Honda, maybe a Ford Escort back in the day, and someone took the bumper off and put a big set of filters out the hood. We don't know why. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But there's also the taxi sign and the open window and the door being made of plastic. Makes it really easy to remove. And then you have those push bars in the back. Makes you wonder just what kind of taxi service this city runs. What are your tax dollars doing in Hot Wheels City? Your tax dollars are paying for jet buses for your high school. Hot Wheels High. I got 2 of these, and this is a jet bus for your high school. I mean, man, if we had a fleet of jet buses when I was going to high school, I would have paid a lot more attention. And finally, the other thing your tax dollars in Hot Wheels City are going towards are the police force. I got 4 of these Dodge Charger drift cars, and they are great cars, great molds with the push bar and the raised hood, the police style light bar, the spoilers, and the dark tires. These are just really nice looking molds, and I can't wait to do something with them. So, retro racers, the Mazda 787B. I got 4 of these, and 4 is a pretty common number I'm noticing here for most of these molds. And I like this one. It's got that supercar, track car look from the 1960s and 70s, hence the retro. But you can do a lot with this. I don't really like the wheels, the 2 different kinds of wheels here. It doesn't feel right to the car. But you know, you can do a wheel swap and take care of that. But still, they could have done better. The Matt and Debbie Hayes 1988 Pro Street Thunderbird. I got 3 of these, and it's white and it's got, you know, a nice little Richter scale on it, but it's just not a car that I'm really enthralled by. It's a very special purpose vehicle. The dragster model is just, I'll do something with it, put it in the background, but it's not something that I'm really thrilled about. Speaking of just not thrilled, my goodness. The Lucid Air. Could there be a more boring looking car? Probably, but I can't think of it. There is just nothing distinctive or interesting about this car. It looks like every other modern sedan on the road. There's just nothing distinctive about this vehicle, and meh. I might set it on fire and put it in the background, but I'm not going to do anything with it. The only thing I do like is those rims. Those rims are pretty cool. The other side of the factory fresh set, I got 3 of these as well. BMW 507. It's nice. It's a good little coupe, but you know, it's a convertible, so I'm likely not going to do much with it. Maybe take its wheels off because those are nice wheels. We got over here 4 Pagani Zonda 4s. And these are nice supercars. They go in the same vein as the Mazda 787 and the Lotus Evija rather. It's a supercar. It's nice. I like the wheels. The wheels don't exactly match the livery, but you know, it's still pretty cool. I like it. Now, don't be mean. Don't be mean. But these are both treasure hunts from my cases, 1 in each case. And great, yay, it's a treasure hunt. It's not a car. It's not something I can use. It's not even something I really want. And there's no resale value. Not that I really resell my cars in the first place, but you know what I mean. Whoopity-doo. Okay, so you've heard the cars I like. You've seen the cars that I'm pretty okay with. You've seen some cars that I don't like. Now I'm going to show you the cars I hate. The cars I hate. I got 4 of these, if I can get them over here. The Diora 3. This is just an ugly car. It's like something from Disneyland in like the World of Tomorrow, where you got into a go-kart and you drove around a track that had a monorail in the middle, and you couldn't really do anything. And even then, you didn't want to ride this in the first place. It's got a motorcycle in the back and a surfboard, and it's just an ugly, dumb car. I don't use that term lightly. I apologize, but it's just useless. There's nothing interesting here, and I despise this car. Now, I don't like my cars to look like toys. I like to pretend that they're real. That's really hard when the car is a rolling toaster. It's even got a pop-up piece of bread. I got 2 of these, and meh. Speaking of cars that look like toys, Brick and Delivery. I got 3 of these, and I don't hate them, but there's just nothing. Okay, I rephrase that. I hate them. I do not like this vehicle. It looks like a toy, and I don't want my toys to look like toys. I know that sounds silly. Speaking of toys that look like toys, the tuned Chevy Silverado 1983. I mean, I dig the idea, but ugh. Speaking of, the Screen Times Armadillo. There's nothing I can do with this. It can't race, I can't modify it. I mean, there's nothing here that's of any worth or interest to me whatsoever. I do not like it at all. I do not like it semi-am. Now, I don't like this vehicle for a different reason. The twin mill is a pretty good car, but there's not a lot I can do with it on a good day, but this one has Braille dots all over it. And I am super into the fact that, this is a car that benefits the National Federation of the Blind. It's inclusive for people with disabilities or differently abled, and I'm okay with that. I just don't like the car. Car's maybe not for me, and I get that. I'm offering my opinion. There you go. I do like that there's Braille on the package. And then we have clip rod, because the one thing I really, really want in this world is to have a bulky wheeled money clip in my back pocket. That's just, ugh. Okay, there's one car left. I despise this vehicle more than I can tell you. It is the car I got the most of as well. Everything else, I got 5, 4, 3, 1, or 2 of. I got 7 of this car. Nothing else comes close. And I hate this car more than I can tell you. I hated it when it came out, I hated the movie it was in, and I hated its design. There have been a lot of Batmobiles in the world. And I hate this one. This one is Joel Schumacher's attempt at a Batmobile, and there is nothing that I like about this car. It is uneconomical, it's garish, it's like nothing Batman would drive. Even the animated series Batman, who could have any Batmobile in the world, had a cooler Batmobile than this. Adam West had a cooler Batmobile than this. Tim Burton's '89 Batmobile was an Art Deco masterpiece. I loved that vehicle. The recent Batman with Robert Pattinson, that Batmobile was really a wonderful piece of work. And I even enjoyed the Batfleck Batmobiles. Those seemed very apropos to Batman. This does not. But it's also from the movie with bat nipples, so, you get what you got. And that was the contents of 2 Case D mainline cases for Hot Wheels. Again, I had 138 cars, and on the screen right now, I'm going to show you a list of all the cars I got and the numbers I got them in. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.